During the process of making this migration, we have unfortunately created a new backup in our old TSM environment. However, this is normal. This is expected given how long the process could take. Look at it and remember the timestamp. We open the obey file to edit it. We update the last migration time parameter. We put a date that is a bit earlier than the timestamp we kept note. Now we run the obey file to migrate this last backup as well. Only one job will be created, so we will do the same process as last time. We start bin, we start TSM, and we run the obey file for the daily. We just see one right now. If you check the info for ZD0000, and it'll have in its queue ZD000A, and it'll update the timestamp to what it's supposed to be. So we will queue the first one, and let's check what's happening in the UI. Request is mounted, and we see some activity. It'll start to write the data. When this tape is unloaded, the migration of this last daily backup will be done. Now let's see what we have in the tape catalog. We have 12 scratch tapes, and now we only have 2 scratch tapes. 9 were used for migration, and the leftover. We have 10 generations as well. If you check the date, these aren't when the tapes were created. This is the original date from the back home environment. If we look at backup request from back home, the syntax for the backup is very similar. We will take a note of this parameter from the request. We migrated all the tapes, so the next daily backup will be using the regular non-stop tape method. We open the backup obey file and modify it using a similar syntax. We split the line, and then we will specify the file using the parameter we kept. As well, it's important to use a large block size for efficiency. It used to be 52 kilobyte block was the maximum, but now it could be much larger. We will also update the voltcat and tape pool and modify the file ID. We will also change the retention to 10. Let's do a backup into the tape infrastructure. Let's run it and then check the UI. We will see a tape loaded, a tape request, and it looks exactly what we saw in the migration. However, this time it is live data that's coming from the nonstop to a real backup. This will take a few minutes. And now it is done. Let's see what happened and get the info for the tape file. The generation 11 is the one we just produced. The first 9 are the original migration, and the 10th was from that last daily that we missed from the migration. And then the 11th, of course, is what we just did as well. Let's do a restore. When we use the tape files, we specify the file ID and the generation. We start the obey file for the restore, and the system will get the tape and it runs the restore. This is a small one, so it'll only take a little longer. And we're done. This restore confirms that the backup works. We'll modify the restore script now. Let's remove the generation, and we'll take the most recent one from our set. Let's run it and see what happens in this sped up video. The migration process will merge all the generations you made with the BackHome-TSM backup with the future generations you will be making using the BackBox backup process. Once we're done with the dailies, we can do the same for the weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. Once the entire migration is done, you can decommission the migration environment and the BackHome production environment, and you will have all the metadata needed in the new environment as well. Thank you.